video is an awareness video about the ongoing crisis that's going on between the Oso Edda people and the people of Amasiri. This crisis has been going on for almost a year over a land dispute that has lasted for decades. And when I went to the village last year, I tried asking questions to know the main reason for the land dispute. Actually, for the crisis, I happened to ask my cousin, which wasn't really so satisfying. But when I asked my cousin about the reason for the crisis, he said that the land in question belongs to the Amasiri people. But also Ida people are claiming that the land belongs to them, and I'm particularly from Amasiri. So Ida people claim that the land belongs to them, and they have had the land for years, but Amasiri people are trying to claim it. So I was trying to understand why can't Amasiri people leave the land for them since they say they own it. And my cousin said the land is the major source of farming, agriculture for the people of Amasiri. And Ida people is also claiming that it's majorly, let me just see, this land is rich in agriculture. So both communities need it to farm. And I made a research this morning before making this video, and I found out that the land in question also have some natural resources like zinc, marble, and other natural resources located in the land. So it's a very valuable land. A few nights ago, an incident happened in Oso Edda. Allegedly, some Amasiri youth invaded Edda and unalived some people, destroyed property, and displaced some people. And Ida people is claiming that Amasiri people was involved in this. I remember an incident before we went to the village. My nephew had gone before us, so he was in the village last year. I was on a call with him at about 10, 11, and he was going to buy something. When he got to the shop, he met some youths in the shop, and they started questioning him to know where he's coming from, who he was, because his face wasn't really familiar. So my nephew was telling them, I'm from this community, I'm from this family, but he wasn't really giving them the full name of the family. So the youth probably wanted to beat him until my older cousin came and intervened. Still, when I was going to the village, so I just want to say for clarity, security is tight in Amasiri. You just want to know who is coming and where is going. And also, I remember when we were going to the village, our major point of entry into Amasiri was the Ida area route. But when we were coming, we didn't follow the Ida. We had to go follow Uburu to enter Amasiri. And I had to ask my brother, why are we coming through this way? Why are we not going through that way? And he said that Ida people normally stop vehicles that are coming into Amasiri through the Ida route, and they will ask questions to know who is from Amasiri or who is going to Amasiri. And if you identify as someone from Amasiri, they have to pull you down and whatever they like to do to you. So security is tight on both ends. You get me, Abi? They said Amasiri youth came into their community, unalived people, set houses ablaze, and destroyed properties. How did it happen? If your security is that tight, if everyone is checking to know who is coming in and who is going out, who is who, they want to identify where you're coming from, where you're going to. You get me? So, how did the people of Amasiri sneak into Ida to commit that crime? For clarity, I'm not supporting violence. I'm a very peaceful person, but I shall just want to know how they got access, since both ends have a high-end security, knowing who want to identify who is who. So how did those number of people get access into Ida to commit that crime, and no youth of the Ida people saw them and caught them? Now that's my first question, and Secondly, the governor visited Ida yesterday, and he made a declaration in Ida that every appointed politician, government officials have been relieved of their position, have been resolved of their position until the dispute between Oso Edda and Amasiri is resolved. And personally, I feel like this is not really the best way to handle a situation like this. Two communities are having a major crisis, and you just wake up and pick one community to sanction. You just want punish just one community. What happens to both community? And I had to read further, and I found out that the governor had made a declaration or rule that both communities should be at peace. So allegedly, Amasiri broke the peace truth. So this is the punishment for the Amasiri people for breaking the truth. There's a lot of questions I want to ask, but two community fights. Allegedly, one invaded the other community and set them on fire, set on the life people and caused destruction. You visited just one community without making investigations, without knowing if truly these other people of these other ends crossed boundaries and committed those crimes. You just went to either street and you start making declarations and sanctioning people just like that, which doesn't show sign of leadership. It shows sign of you sympathizing with one over the other. Anybody might have committed those crimes, and if it's Amasri people, I just pray the law holds them accountable, because you have to be accountable. Lives are precious things that you don't joke with. Those lands that they are fighting for 100 years to come, none of them, both ends, none of them will be alive to fight over those properties again. They are going to bury them under the land. So why take life over a property, over land? So question is, the governor shouldn't have just gone to one area, just gone to either start giving punishments, additional punishment to people of Amasri, relieving them of their position and all that, the chiefs, the politicians, the ministers and all that. You don't do things like that. You have to go to both ends. There are chiefs and there are community leaders in every community. You don't get how you won't be. Say you go Amasiri and go Ida, go ask question. Did any of your youth trespass? Make investigation. If any people of the Amasiri went to Ida to commit this crime, fish them out. That's what a leader does. You consider both ends. You think about the both sides. When two parties are having issues, you have to consider both ends as neutral. You have to be on a neutral ground, not picking side with one other people. And I see some other posts, they say if Amasri people want to carve out of ebonyi state, they should come out and go join in the state. Now, after I've been reading, because I don't stay in the village, I barely go to the village, and I found out that Amasri people is actually having dispute with a lot of communities over land. And I don't want to believe that everybody just wants to take land from Amasri, but the land in question is the Borojok land. Yeah, it's a very big land. Call both communities. Call them. You say this land belongs to you. Yes, you say this land belongs to you. Okay. This land is also plot. Divide the land in two. Give one to this one, give one to this one. Anybody that trespass to the other side, forfeit his own to this other side. And anybody that claims to one head, say, oh, you're not supposed to be like this. You go come give account of how do I put it? Don't go this way and you went. There should be a punishment for you disobeying the rules and regulation that has been set aside for this dispute. I don't know if you get me. The land is a very big land, so why not just divide it in two equal parts and give one to the Oso Edda people and give one to the Amasiri people, since the land is a major source of livelihood to both ends. I don't want to say to Amasiri people, to both ends, because I don't want to believe that the land belongs to Amasiri people and it also belongs to Oso Edda people. Then they fight for this land. So obviously it belongs to either of them or none of them. You get to either belongs to one of them or none of them. For now, it belongs to none of them. So for you to bring peace and unity to both communities, why not divide the land to equal parts and give it to them? Since the land is rich in mineral, and I want to also believe that this is political, because based on my readings and finding, the land has natural resources that are of value: zinc, marble, and other natural resources that I can't remember. So I personally feel that this crisis that is going on, that has lasted for almost a year, it's political and it is being fueled by people of interest, people that knows the value of those natural resources in the land. For example, it's a very rich agricultural soil, so it's a major source of economic value to the states. You get to rice is being planted in those lands, cassavas, what's again other things that they need to survive is being planted on those lands. So it's an important land, whether you like it or not. And this crisis between both communities is not going to give any of them access to this land. A dispute has to be put together, an understanding has to be made, a decision has to be made, and both communities should be considered. And you have to be fair, because you going to also either to declare people of Amasri terrorists and all that shit, and relieving the people that you appoint, the people of Amasri that you give appointment, they relieve them of their positions and chiefs and all that. It doesn't really make sense for anybody that's thinking straight. And I can see a lot of people is rejoicing over this unfair justice, this unfair ruling that the governor gave. And personally, for me, I feel it's wrong, and it doesn't make so much sense for you to just go to one community, no investigation and all that. People just woke up one morning and said people were unalived, and this particular two rival gangs like me now I follow, I get one enemy now when I fight. I could just wake up one morning, make a video and said, oh, my enemy came and did this to this to this, and everybody just believes, because you know that we are open enemies, we are public enemies. You just believe, no investigation carried out or anything. I don't support violence, but you have to do investigation to find out if these things were true. I said this is political. It can't be political. Anybody can wake up morning and incite violence and all that, and people will believe. This community have been on each other's neck for almost a year. I think people cannot just wake up one morning and create a story and narrative, a propaganda to dent the image of one place. It can happen. Amasri people could have been the one that did those things in Oso Edda. And if it's them, I truly condemn it, and I pray that every single one of them that was involved in those attack and those destruction and those taking of life should be brought to book. But investigation need to be carried out. You don't just make has decision like that without no investigation and all. That if the governor had carried out investigation and he found out that, oh, the Amasri people did it, some youth from the Amasri community did this, and he gave judgment, which makes sense. But no investigation. You just woke up one morning, carry your convoy, drive to Oso Edda, and you stay there and declared. Come on. But anyways, I just in all of this, I just want to say, until you bring these two communities together, divide the property into the land in two, give it to both communities, or you collect the entire land, since both communities don't want to leave it for any. You collect the entire land and use it as a government property to generate funds, to help both communities, not even generate funds, help both communities be part of it. Until then, this crisis between this land dispute between both communities, it's going to be forever. 100 years to come, none of them is going to be here, but their children was to be fighting over this land. So you have to apply wisdom as the governor of the state. Call both communities. They have chiefs, they have rulers, they have what's it called, kings. They have Izigos in their communities, respective villages and all that. You have to call them together, discuss with them, have an understanding, and give a judgment based on a fair ground, not one-sided. It has to be plain. Until then, we're just stuck. So, peace and love.